You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Sorry, folks. Let's talk about impeachment. After 13 hours of debate yesterday, going into the early hours of the morning, senators finally agreed to the rules that will govern how the rest of the trial plays out. Opening arguments started today with Congressman Adam Schiff, the lead House impeachment manager, outlining Democrats' roadmap for the next few days. But here are a couple of impeachment managers who presented their case yesterday, both African Americans and members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
The question was asked by Mr. Sekulow as he opened before this distinguished body. Why are we here? Let me see if I can just posit an answer to that question. We are here, sir, because President Trump pressured a foreign government to target an American citizen for political and personal gain. We are here, sir, because President Trump solicited foreign interference in the 2020 election and corrupted our democracy. We are here, sir, because President Trump withheld $391 million in military aid from a vulnerable Ukraine without justification in a manner that has been deemed unlawful. We are here, sir, because President Donald Trump elevated his personal political interests and subordinated the national security interests of the United States of America. We are here, sir, because President Trump corruptly abused his power and then he tried to cover it up. And we are here, sir, to follow the facts, apply the law, be guided by the Constitution, and present the truth to the American people. That is why we are here, Mr. Sekulow. And if you don't know, now you know.
The House managers strongly support the amendment to issue subpoena for documents to the State Department. As we explain, the first article of impeachment charges the president with using the power of his office to solicit and pressure Ukraine to announce investigations that everyone in this chamber knows to be bogus. The president didn't even care if an investigation was actually conducted, just that it was announced. Why? Because this was for his own personal and political benefit. The first article further charges that the president did so with corrupt motives and that his use of power for personal gain harmed the national security of the United States. As the second article of impeachment charges, the president sought to conceal evidence of this conduct. He did so by ordering his entire administration, every office, every agency, every official to defy every subpoena served in the House impeachment inquiry. No president in history has ever done anything like this. Many presidents have expressly acknowledged that they couldn't do anything like this. President Trump did not take these extreme steps to hide evidence of his innocence or to protect the institution of the presidency. As a career law enforcement officer, I have never seen anyone take such extreme steps to hide evidence allegedly proving his innocence. And I do not find that here today. The president is engaged in this cover-up because he is guilty, and he knows it. And he knows that the evidence he is concealing will only further demonstrate his culpability.
Jason, watching this whole thing play out, it is absolutely amazing to listen to Trump lawyers just lie. I mean, to stand there and say, oh, the Democrats, they wouldn't even allow Republicans into the Schiff. They were. They even got to ask the same number of questions. I mean, how brazen they are with lying is, in essence, exactly what Donald Trump wants, because that's what he does, just lie.
Right. I was going to say, we know who their boss is. So, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you know, the funny thing is, not only that, I would say that Cipollone looked out of his depth. Like, he really just looked like he shouldn't have been there. I wouldn't have even wanted him to be, you know, my defense attorney. Sekulow looked a little bit better. He's a TV guy. But Cipollone looked really bad, and he was the guy, first of all, who's also implicated in the obstruction issue, because he sent that letter. But, you know, again, I think the Democrats have laid out an incredible case thus far. They've had visual aids. They've let the president's own people and the State Department people tell the story for them in many cases. Also, you had to appreciate Hakeem Jeffries, the Brooklyn dude, saying, if you don't know, now you know. I think everybody had to appreciate that, you know. But, you know, it's clear that we need to hear from Mulvaney and Duffy and Blair and Pompeo and Bolton and Parnas. And most importantly, we need those documents. There's no way to defend the fact that that Clinton gave 90,000 documents and they don't have to give any. They've given zero. You know, you had 37 new witnesses in the case for Andrew Johnson, and now they're saying you can't have new witnesses. There's really no defense for it, so I don't really envy Sekulow or Cipollone or any of those other people. Of course, Dershowitz is making a fool of himself. So I think Democrats are slam dunking it, but we have such a partisan environment that in the end, it won't really make a difference. The president can escape.
Rob, all these people keep talking about, Susan Collins and Mitt Romney and Lamar Alexander and I forgot the fourth person they keep bringing up. Cory Gardner. And, you know, are they going to step up? Hell no. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I have absolutely no faith in either one of them. Just like when you had Senator Jeff Flake, he would go on the floor and he would give these speeches and punk out and vote along with Trump. Ben Sass, you ain't heard from his ass in the last 15 months or so. He was always running his mouth. He wrote a book and he was posting tweets. But as he got closer to re-election, he sucked up to Trump. Trump endorsed him, and he ain't said a damn thing.
Yep, and he's not going to. Look, I see better than I hear. When people tell me that they're going to do something, they can talk. I judge it by their actions. And looking at anybody that's in the Republican Party that's a current elected official, there is zero backbone. There is zero convictions in terms of having a moral obligation to this Constitution. They don't care about anything other than keeping power. So very, very predictable. I will say, I just want to make a quick reference to Hakeem Jeffries. As you know, I know you're a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha, but, you know, I like to say that Congressman Jeffries, of course, is the Kappa. I have to just say that, fellow brother. Anyway,
there's like a couple of y'all, so ain't like that many of y'all.
Yeah, there's a few of us out there. There's a few of us representing well, brother. But, you know, the case was
next,
made
Boozy?
Very well. What's that?
Who's next, Boozy?
Well, he's got to be honorary. He's not there yet.
Well, y'all used to honoraries. Reese. Reese. See, you the one who opened your mouth. You should.
I know. I opened it up. But
you know that Michael ain't said nothing about Omega. See, he know how to act.
I don't need to say anything. That's correct.
Right. He knows I don't need to say nothing. Don't have a hashtag team whip that ass show up. See. All right, Reese. Again, watching this. You're seeing gutless Republicans. They all mad, upset because they can't get up and eat. They can only drink water, and then they can only drink if they want some milk. You got to bring your own milk. And watching this, and what's to me what is smart here, how the Democrats have laid it out. They have properly used the time when they were going through those amendments to connect all the dots. Right. And so, and then of course you got Fox News over there, who is just. First of all, they're doing the bidding more for Donald Trump than his own press secretary is as well.
We haven't heard from her.
Right.
I have to go back to Hakeem Jeffries. I have to shout him out because he's a star, obviously. And I have to say, just to veer a little bit from impeachment, tell AOC and the Justice Democrats to leave the black CBC members alone because she is trying to go after Hakeem Jeffries for his seat. So I think he has proved his mettle.
Well, him, Gregory Meeks, and some others.
Right. So hands off of Hakeem Jeffries, period. But I think what we're seeing from the Republicans is they're co-conspirators. And I think it takes quite a bit of guts to just sit up there and make the entire country see very plainly that you are 100% beholden to Donald Trump, not the Constitution, not to your constituents. That's bold as hell. And they're telling you, I dare you to hold me accountable. I dare you to do any damn thing about it. And nobody is out in the streets. They, I think, who was it, Chuck Grassley deactivated his voicemail, but they don't seem to be too pressed about this. So, the Republicans are bold as hell, and the only thing that you can do is vote them out.
Mike?
I find interesting that the way 45 has absolutely punked these people, just completely punked them. At least John McCain, may he rest in peace, stood up and he really did speak and acted. These folks, and the thing I understand politically either, they were in these seats before 16, before 45 got there.
Right.
So they have their own bases in their own states. So either they're scared and got punked, or they believe in this guy's vision and how he talks about people. Can't have it both ways. So,
or they're compromised.
Or they're somehow compromised.
But there is no Republican Party right now. It's just the Trump Party, and they are scared to death because he can. This is the truth, right? He can't organize better than they have in a long time, and he knows how to motivate his base. So he sends out one tweet for them. It could actually, it has made or broken people. So they're scared to death. They have no backbone. They only care about preserving their power. So right now it's Trump's party. There is no Republican Party. It's Trump.
Well, I would add to that. I mean, look at Ted Cruz, a guy who Donald Trump literally insulted his family and insulted his wife. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what you're made of. Like, if you have any chutzpah at all, if you have any backbone, that you would let another man insult your family and insult your wife, and you still bow your head to him. I don't know what he's done, what he does to make Donald Trump, if he wanted to sell something, sell what it is that he has that makes grown men cower that way. I don't even get it. But apparently somehow these Republicans, even the ones who are retiring, that's why I think your point about Lamar Alexander, which, by the way, when I hear the name Lamar Alexander, I do not picture that guy. But, that's just me. But I could have swore I went to school with a guy named Lamar Alexander. But anyway, I don't understand. These guys aren't going to go against that. For some reason, they're scared of the loudest voice. They're scared of these Republican constituents saying things about them, tweeting them, and they back down and they cower.
And look, they're getting stuff. Look, they're getting a lot of what they want done. Here's the other side of it.
Right, and that's the key. Rob, go ahead.
They want done, so they're getting judges through. Something from Trumpism and Trump is that when we get a Democrat in the White House, which eventually is going to happen, theoretically, like, we don't have to apologize. Like, let's actually figure out how to get things done like they do instead of just figuring out, instead of apologizing and shuffling our feet. What Donald Trump has shown me that apparently there's a lot more power in the presidency than we previously thought. So hopefully we get a Democrat there that they can at least have a little backbone and do a little more than Democrats usually do.
Well, I think the problem is that Democrats always want to play nice. The difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, Democrats say, there are rules and we need to follow the process and we have to be fair. I was reading a story about Mitch McConnell and one of the folks, they were talking about how ruthless he is, how he'll change the rules to suit him.
Yeah.
Yes, that's called flexing power.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, if Democrats wipe out some of these Republicans and take over the Senate, I'm telling you right now, blue slip, don't even come talk to me. This is exactly how the hearings will go. You done?
Well, look at what's happening.
I'll be like, you done?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a suggestion? I don't give a damn. And then, matter of fact, if Lindsey Graham opened his mouth, I'd be like, press play when he was talking all that trash with his ass. I'm telling you right now, I literally would not listen to anything that they say. If the Democrats take control of the Senate on the first day, hell, I confirm 10 judges. Damn a hearing.
Yeah, but that's kind of wishful thinking, to be honest with you.
No. Here's the deal.
Cory Gardner's going to lose.
Who?
Hickenlooper's going to beat Cory Gardner. Doug Jones could very well lose. Martha McSally will probably lose. But I think a lot of those other races, Lindsey Graham is going to be in a tight race. McConnell's going to be in a tight race. But I really believe they're probably going to pull it out.
Here's the deal. Look. Here's the thing that I said in 2016. I said it. You could pull the video. I got the receipts. I said it on MSNBC. What I said is you cannot account for white folks who have sat out the last election. I said if there's a stampede to the ballot box, Donald Trump beats Hillary Clinton. I said they got to be scared of that. What happened? One, that happened. There was an increase in those rural voters, but there was a decrease of the black vote. You also saw Hispanic voters, you saw young voters go down as well. Look, from a Democratic standpoint, this is why I totally disagree with Mike Bloomberg running. I know he says he's going to spend up to $2 billion to defeat Trump. This is where it's an absolute turnout game. Democrats can. Look, Mitch McConnell has ignored coal miners in his own state, the very people who he needs. Mitch McConnell can actually lose. So you can take out Mitch McConnell. You've got 250,300,000 eligible but unregistered African Americans in South Carolina alone. You've had folks moving to that state as well. And so look in Mississippi, you have Mike Espy, who's running against Cindy Hyde-Smith. Mike Espy lost the last election in 2018 by 68,000 votes. If you look at, now granted, it's a state of 2.5 million people, but if you look at the number of African Americans who were registered but who didn't vote, number of poor whites registered who didn't vote, the whole issue with lack of Medicaid expansion in Mississippi, Sidney Hyde-Smith can lose. But you have to put the resources on the ground in order to turn folks out. Reese, we saw this where, first, let's be clear, a Democrat got reelected as governor of Louisiana. A Democrat beat the Republican in Kentucky. John Cooper won in North Carolina. That only happened when people on the ground were reached. You knocked on doors, you touched people, but you can't come in thinking you're just going to run some ads and they're going to jump out and vote.
Well, but we're seeing the Democrats kind of double down on this whole Rust Belt strategy, not going to the South. So I don't really see them putting the resources that you need to unless you have a billionaire like Michael Bloomberg who's willing to cut a blank check to the South. Which
is also why, Michael, I disagree with Tom Steyer running. I mean, again, Tom Steyer was building that level of coalition, the amount of money he put in certain races, and fine, they're running. Okay, yeah, they think they're going to win. They're not. I don't care what the latest poll. Latest poll shows Mike Bloomberg's in fourth place. Deval Patrick, I don't know why in the hell he's running because he's not even showing up in the 1%. But again, this is where Republicans, regardless of what they say about Trump, they're going to vote for him again. They don't care. They don't care about how he trashes women. They don't care about the lying. They don't care. And so Democrats that better understand that this is about being hardcore when it comes to turning your people out, and stop trying to chase white conservative women in the suburbs.
Well, he has.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Mike, go ahead.
He has 45, however you want to look at 16. A lot of it was luck. He got very lucky.
Absolutely.
He pulled his little straight flush. He got very lucky. This time, his campaign folks understand that they have to actually be on the ground and get people out. They're going to have an operation. Besides running ads, besides rallies, he is going to be knocking on doors and pulling his people to the polls. What Democrats have to do, we have to do, is twofold. One, and Roland, you've heard me talk about it. I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but Chairman Perez at some point has to stop the primary. At some point, whenever the primary season, whenever it's done, when it's after Super Tuesday, maybe let people get through March, maybe a little bit of April. You got to do what my father did. He cut the primary off and said, Clinton is the guy. Let's move on. Let's give the guy the rest of the summer all the way through the convention. Hillary Clinton didn't have the catapult. She had a great convention, but she was still, you had still Bernie Sanders people still angry and upset and pissed off, and I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I don't like her. No chance to mend fences. And then you got to do a one-on-one with a guy that lies and has $500 million.
Yeah, the problem here is, and Roland, I'm about to go to you in a second, the problem here, though, is that the calendar's also been shortened. Super Tuesday is going to take place on March 3rd. The Democratic National Convention is the second week of July.
Yep.
And so I'm telling you right now, this race is not going to be over by
No,
Super Tuesday.
No.
This race is
No
going
way.
to go. This race is going to go to May or June.
Yeah.
And look, if Buttigieg somehow wins Iowa, if Sanders wins New Hampshire, and then if Joe Biden wins South Carolina, 3 of your first 4 states are going to have 3 different winners. And so that's one of the things that you're dealing with. Democrats have proportional delegation,
Right.
as opposed to winner take all. That's going to extend this whole deal. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I have a couple of really different points from Michael. I would say I don't think Trump got lucky in 2016. I think there was some strategy, particularly how they did their digital strategy. And the Clinton campaign really had no real digital strategy. They were specific. They knew who they were targeting. You know, if you don't believe me, you can see The Great Hack on Netflix. They go through it all in detail. And I still think Democrats have an underappreciation for what they need to do there. I am sure of it. And so I do agree with him that they're going to be even more prepared now. Second, my experience as being a candidate, I was the Democratic nominee for Ohio Treasurer, and a lot of the philosophy generally was to do exactly what you said, Roland. Like, let's just figure out, we're going to get some more of those voters back. Let's figure out how to market to everybody and essentially market to no one. And you know, that's what happened. Now we got a ton of votes, almost got 2 million votes, which is actually more votes than Kasich got. Here's what they didn't anticipate. Those people came out in rural communities, and they came out in stronger numbers than our base did in terms of looking at young people, African Americans.
Hold on. Hillary Clinton lost Ohio by 450,000 votes. They didn't just come out in huge numbers. Lots of Democrats who work for unions. It was all about NAFTA. She wasted more time and money going to Ohio. And I'm be perfectly honest with you, okay? In this cycle, and you've already seen Priorities PAC say it, they're not going to waste time and money in Ohio. I would not, straight up, look, all people in Ohio, I love y'all, but I'm just looking at hardcore numbers.
Right.
If
and
a
Ohio's
dude,
not the point. I don't want to make the point of looking at Ohio. I wanted to make the point of the strategy. I think the strategy was off.
Hold up, but you got but the strategy was off. But we also look. You have to concede. Hillary Clinton was the perfect candidate for Trump to beat.
No question about it.
Because the narrative about Hillary Clinton was already locked in stone. The Republicans had already paid. You couldn't get out of it.
Which gets to my next point. You're absolutely right. There are some candidates that can fall under that same trap, especially if your philosophy is the same as the Clinton campaign was. I think it's a losing strategy. That's what I'm trying to say.
You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.